You're listening to Metal World Radio.
Friends, Romans, Metalheads, lend me your ears. I thought I was recording then. I pressed, what I do is I take a breath, get ready to expel some air, which the act of talking involves. And so I was like, got ready, held my breath, kept holding my breath, waiting for the recording line to start moving, got quite uncomfortable, realised I'd not pressed record. I was just sat in my studio with my arms slightly raised in my air, because I like to sweep it round to get some energy up in here. Just sat holding my breath with my hand in the air in my studio. Oh, God, I'm meant to be a professional voice actor in my day job, audiobook narrator. Here we are, can't even press record. Listen, I didn't make it, did I? Didn't make that 2-week deadline. What can I say? Been working very hard. Listen, I do this for the love, but unfortunately, I got to do other stuff for the money. And I got to put food on my table, and that involves making audiobooks and doing voice acting. And I am through one of the audiobooks, and I am all in a 4-block slate, and I'm almost through the second one. I'll finish that one off tomorrow, I reckon, unless I want to pull a latey tonight, and I'll finish that tonight. By the way, the one I'm working on tonight is fantastic. It's called We Men of Ash and Shadow. It's by H.L. Tinsley. It's an incredible book. It's as epic as the title might suggest. I absolutely adore it, and I love doing it. So if you want, if I'm able to get them, just tweet me at RJ Bailey and I'll send you an audio as a treat, as a gift for listening to this podcast. Send me a tweet at RJ Bailey, and if I'm able to get them, I'll just send you a code for the book and you can download it for free from Audible. How about that? Do leave me, if you like it, I would appreciate a review, but don't, just as a treat for listening to this podcast. I appreciate it. All right. Got an absolutely Epica. Yeah. See what I did there? Interview today. It's from the vaults-ish. I mean, it's not the oldest interview I've got in the vaults by a long stretch. This is only 2 interviews old. It's Simone Simons from Epica, who my friends, and until I recently was doing my research for this interview, believed was called Simone Simons, which is a very good name, to be fair. It is a very good name, Simone Simons. And you'll hear a very funny little promo ident she did for the show, for Metal Empire radio show, which involves a confusion. Well, I'll let you listen to it. It's very funny. She was an absolute dream to talk to. What a charmer. She's bit intimidated to speak to someone who is so renowned, famous, both for her skill and ability with her voice, her instrument, her incredible operatic voice, one of the best voices in metal. Absolutely. One of the best voices, full stop. And you'll hear that in some of the songs that I played during this podcast off of the new album. But also, she's just an within heavy metal, she's a very, very famous person. So, an Epic is an absolutely colossal band. So, and that's not doing down other people who I've spoken to. I'm sure Relica, Monique Pym, wonderful person as she is, I'm sure she will agree that Relica are not as big as Epica. So it wasn't quite as so intimidating first time around to talk to Monique as it was to speak to this musician, this singer who's been doing this, I suppose a veteran now. Epica's 10 years old, more than that? Certainly long before I've ever started interviewing people, and way, way beyond this, before this podcast started. Way before I started even doing a radio show. So, was some intimidation. However, she really was lovely to speak to, really nice. Someone you would have a cup of tea with. And this is how unmetal, I'm getting at the age of 35, or I think I'm 35. I'm just like, how not, I don't, not, I like previously I'd be like, yeah, speaking to someone who would pound some Jaeger bombs with. Now I'm like, yeah, I like speaking to someone who I could have a cup of tea with, maybe a cappuccino. Nothing too caffeinated. Don't want to go crazy here. But it's a great interview, very far-ranging. When it's the more famous people, I am quite nervous about going down my usual route, my silly route, because I don't know. Maybe it's because I do unorthodox interviews and they've been through. And I'm a very little fish compared to Epica. And I get a bit nervous that when I pull my usual garbage, like talking about poo-poo, listening to last week's podcast with Andy Derris from Halloween, when I pull my usual nonsense, they might be like, who is this who on earth has the record label given access to me? Who is this unprofessional knob? But she went right along with it. And I think that's, I think there is a strength. This interview is one of those that, along with Andy, gave me a lot of confidence, actually, as an interview, that actually my style is good because it is different, it is unusual, and I do like not talking about the music. And I think when musicians have been asked a bajillion times about the music, what was the songwriting process like? What's the message behind the new album? What's your favourite song? I mean, I ask stuff like that as well because people do want to know that. But, the usual stuff, they just get sick of it. So I think if you start talking about Indiana Jones and Danny Elfman and just be absurd and start, having a laugh with them and asking them dumb questions and saying odd things to them like I do with... what you just heard there. So I work in a studio that I've built. Well, the building I didn't build. That was already in the garden when we bought the house earlier this year. But I've converted it into... Half of it is in my recording studio where I do my day job, my audiobook narration, my voice acting. And also I record my podcasts from, like this one. And the other half of it is where I do my Warhammer. I've got a whole Warhammer room. It's amazing. But next door neighbours that you just heard, that wasn't the next door neighbour's dog, to be fair. Next door neighbours have got, I think it sounds like quite a small dog, but it's got a big chip on its shoulder. And I don't think it's been properly socialised, or there's something up with it. It's super got small man syndrome. And it likes to come up to the fence and have a bark. And the dog that I raised since a puppy, Harley. If you want to go on my Instagram feed, Robert J. Bailey, you can find a picture of a beautiful tricolour border collie, Harley. And we've had her since a puppy, and we raised her, and she's like super, just the most chill dog you will ever meet. Even though she's a border collie, she's the most chill dog you'll ever meet. Mina, on the other hand, is a rescue dog from Romania, our second dog, who we got coming up to a year ago. Coming up to about a year of having her. Got her about a year ago. And, yeah, so Mina goes and, my dogs go and chill and lie in the garden. And my poor little rescue dog, Mina, she's lying in the garden, but she's, as you might expect, living in having a really tough, hard life for the first 2.5 years of her, so far 3-year-old life. Almost, yeah, she is 3 now, yeah. She's emotionally scarred, as a lot of rescue dogs are, and she's had to, fight to survive in very inhospitable conditions in Romania before she came over to the UK. And so the little dog next door with a chip on its shoulder, small man syndrome, it like barks away. And the dog, it just, and the neighbours let it bark. No, they've got better, to be fair. They've got better. And they do stop it barking. But so my dog Harley had since a puppy, just chill. But obviously my rescue dog, she sees this finds this to be, if there's a dog suddenly starts barking at the other side of a fence that she cannot see, she thinks she's being attacked. And it's rarely, if ever, her to start it, to be fair to her. And she thinks she's being attacked, and she views this as a threat. So she'll start barking back and but properly go up to the fence and go proper aggressive, not just like a warning. It's not like a man in a pub going, right, keep your mouth shut, mate, or you'll end up with a black eye, yeah? It's a man in a pub going up to you and being, if you don't shut the fuck up, I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm going to burst you, you wee bastard. Because he's gone suddenly from Cockney to Glaswegian, and that is the most threatening combination of human being. So, yeah, she goes absolutely mental. And if I don't run out to her and calm her down and tell her everything's going to be okay, she just, it's very stressful for her. Very stressful for a young girl who's had a very, very tough, traumatic life. She barks and growls so much, she gives herself a sore throat, and is coughing away afterwards because she's damaged her throat. Anyway, so that's what you just heard in the recording just then. Mina defending her territory from another yappy little dog bark. So apologies, listeners. But I thought I'd leave that in so you've got a glimpse of my life. Anyway, let's get back to the music and the musician. The following interview is absolutely great. Epica, like I said, Simone Simons, almost said Simmons there. It's just, for years I've known her as Simmons. Completely wrong. I've just inserted an extra M where there shouldn't be. So let's just crack on, shall we? There's been enough waffle. There's been enough rescue dog chat. And I'll see you at the other side of the music. And the... Not just the music. I probably wouldn't be allowed to just play the music if it was I'm just going to give you music away for free. Probably, by virtue of doing an interview and giving promotion, I'm allowed to play the music as well. So I will see you on the other side of the interview. And first of all, one of my favourite songs off their latest album, Omega. This is Code of Life. Hello. Today I'm joined by Simone Simons. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yes, that sounds great.
Good, good. I sometimes struggle with Dutch names. Charlotte Wessels, fine with. However, when I spoke to Dionne van Giersbergen, still can't get it right. Most of that was her trying to teach me names. So I just want to make sure I'm getting it right. A lot of people seem to think Simone is called Simone Simons as well. I don't know why this is. She's not related to Gene Simmons, as far as I'm aware. Co-lyricist and singer of the Dutch critically acclaimed symphonic metal monarchs, Epica. With her band, she's delivered sumptuous albums like The Phantom Agony, Consigned to Oblivion, Requiem. I've written Requiem for the Incompetent. I don't know why I've done it for the indifferent, and The Holographic Principle. Now they're back with their 8th studio album, Omega. And due to the fact it's spelt with the omega sign and then the word mega, I will be continuing to call it Omega Mega. Simone, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Yeah, it's been an eventful day, which is kind of an unusual thing at the moment. But yeah, hanging in there. How are you doing?
I am doing pretty good. Like I've just said off air to you, moving house, which is quite, stressful in the middle of a pandemic. And you yourself have got all the homeschooling going on with. I've seen on your Instagram stories homeschooling going every day. That can't be
Yes.
that can't be easy at all.
No, it's not. But I do like a little challenge. So I accepted the challenge.
So, on to this album. I've heard your album. Thank you very much to the artificial intelligence over at Nuclear Blast, the Chadwick 9000, for sending me it. I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. It's your best album. I've listened to them all again recently. For me, personally, I thought The Phantom Agony was still your best album, because it was very melodic and catchy. This one, however, definitely has superseded that. I can listen to this on repeat, especially when I'm in the garden, just going round and round. And I haven't been able to do that to an album since last year's Question Everything by Helion Prime. And that was my album of the year by a long way. So congratulations on delivering a fantastic album.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, you say The Phantom Agony is one of your favorite Epica albums. Uh, Definitely not some of my favorite albums, but it has a very nostalgic
Uh-huh.
meaning, of course. And I find that with Omega, even though it's now our 8th album, we're almost 20 years later, it has a couple of, how do you say, touch points of the Phantom Agony,
Hmm.
if I say it correctly. It is, it has a little bit the flair of certain Phantom Agony songs, and I think that's because we reincorporated the Arabic melodies,
Yeah,
which were also very present on the first album.
absolutely. You say like Phantom Agony is not one of your favorites. Like, why is that?
Um, I mean, it is a very uh, my first recording as a singer,
Hmm.
and yeah, I mean, it's such a big difference now compared to how I sing now. If I have to, for example, practice some of the old songs again that we haven't played for a while, and I have to listen to that album, I kind of cringe a bit.
Oh, really?
So I prefer to listen to like the live versions of the first songs of the first album, so I'm not completely horrified by my vocal performance.
I think that's very incorrectly low opinion of your performance. You still sound stunning on the Phantom Agony. It's a fantastic performance. Um, this is like a really quite melodic album as well. The other ones I treat as like a whole piece, and I find it less easy to get into and dip in. Not get into. I find it less easy to extract a single song and bring it out and just listen to it on its own merits. That's not taking away from those other albums like Consigned to Oblivion and stuff. It's just more of it's a different experience. It's a big whole piece. Whereas this one, it is a big whole piece that I can listen to, but I'm also able to just extract songs that I can listen to by itself. My favourite one being Omega, Sovereign of the Sun Spheres, which to me sounds like it could almost be a James Bond song. Was it with the trumpets and stuff? Is it is it deliberately making it more melodic and catchier? Am I completely wrong with my assessment of it?
With each album, we strive to make the best album, of course, at our capacity at that moment. And with each record that we released afterwards, we like to analyze what we can do to improve things. Of course, 6 different opinions in the band and different styles. But we wanted to take back a little bit the organic sound that we used to have in the past. And the majority of the band agreed that the holographic principle kind of lost that. It was very much in your face. It was high energy all the time. And we wanted to get a little bit more dynamic back. We wanted the songs to be also great live songs.
Yeah.
As well. So we did spend more time writing the songs and finishing the demos before recording them. We also came together in a house in the Netherlands to, just do it old school, sit together and write together, compose the songs together. And that's not just a very usual thing for us to do because we live in 4 different countries, and in between our extensive touring schedule, we didn't have any more time to meet up in between for songwriting, but that's a conscious choice we made to do different now. So that was very fruitful. It was a great time, and I think it did wonders for the sound of Omega. And we are known for having catchy songs, but in essence, we're a metal band, and we will never betray that part of Epica. It will always stay a very heavy band, but very accessible, I guess, with the choir, the female vocals, catchy melodies. But then there's like turnaround points in the song where the song completely changed, and long songs like the Kingdom of Heaven, Omega, are like musical journeys, and that's something we love to create. And the music comes from the heart, and I hope that will transfer to the listener as well.
It does have a more organic sound. I totally agree with you there. I enjoy like a very, very produced album. I really like the holographic principle. I love Amaranth for that reason. They're super produced and a lot of electronic elements in it. But I did feel like a lot of the light and darkness in this album, which I liked as well. I think that's what allows me to kind of listen to it over and over again. Rivers, for example, very different to some of the other songs on there, because it's a more chilled out kind of song. So I think it's really good. Can you tell me about, just from a selfish point of view, what is the song Omega about, Sovereign of the Sun Spheres?
Well, the lyric is written by Mark.
Oh, right.
And it the song starts with the sound, that you hear that singing.
Yeah.
And it exists out of 3 sounds: the A, U, and M. And the number 3 is an important number in Hinduism. It kind of says there are 3 worlds. You have earth, heaven, and the atmosphere. 3 gods also. And 3 scriptures, which I can't pronounce. It's like Rig, Yahud, and Sama. And it is believed that the sound, also contains the essence of life and the universe, and that it is a sacred sound that was created before the universe, And it's about the evolution of consciousness that allows us to evolve consciously in order to grow and kind of become reunited again with the source of creation, and that we're all one with creation. Sure. We're all part of it, like the bigger picture.
That is some highbrow stuff.
Yes.
You do not play. Well, I like the fact that with you, it's not like don't get me wrong, I love Megadeth or something, or Motorhead, but I love the fact that your songs get so philosophical and explore such high concepts. It's part of what drew me not only to symphonic metal, but also you guys as well. When I remember first listening to the Phantom Agony when I was in a terrible marketing job, feeling awful, and like that kind of allowed me escapism, and I followed you, through those albums as well. So I really appreciate that you invest this kind of more intellectual aspect into your music as well.
Besides the songwriting of the music, the lyrics are also important, and it is Mark and my job to get the best possible result out of it. And Mark is basically always the initiator when it comes to the album title, discusses a little bit the ideas he has for his lyrics, and then I am kind of free to decide if I want to include his topics in my lyrics or not. I'm not obliged to do that. But funnily enough, I mean, both our lyrics have kind of evolved towards each other without consciously wanting to do that. So sure. I guess that's probably a sign that we're working together since a long time, but also maybe just a time in which we are living personally. We're mid-30, starting 40. So you start to think about life in a different way, but we've always been kind of a philosophical band, writing about recent events in the world, society, but also our personal lives. And one big inspiration source for Mark for this album was also the Emerald tablets, and they are the oldest found wisdom stones. You can Google it online. You can. Mark sent me the file, the transcribed file in English, so I read through it here and there as well. Mm-hmm. And it also mainly talks, of course, about the creation of life and the light and darkness within ourselves, and those are topics that are very present on the album.
They sound almost mythical. They sound like something that Indiana Jones would go looking for. Like that.
The
that
Emerald
sounds
tablets,
awesome.
Yes.
And that's a film. That's the fifth one, isn't it? Indiana Jones and the Emerald Tablets, right there.
I don't know actually. I have to look at that. But that you mean that's still in the works, or now after Omega will be released, that movie will come?
Yeah, definitely.
Or is it actually released?
No. I bet that's what once Harrison Ford hears Omega, which I'm sure he's a big Epica fan, he's going to be like, I know what the next indie film is about. Emerald Tablets, right there. Let's do it. Send off the franchise in style with an Epica soundtrack as well. That would be amazing.
Music is it could fit or could be used for a soundtrack as well. That's something that's on our bucket list to do that one day. I think that would be great. Also for me as a singer, I would love to do that.
That would be amazing. What kind of film would you like to do that for? Because I know Blind Guardian, who I'm a huge fan of, they originally submitted for Lord of the Rings, and that didn't come to fruition, but that would have been an incredible soundtrack. Like, what kind of film would you like to do?
I also love fantasy movies, so anything for Tim Burton, maybe, if he needs a vocalist. And I think Hans Zimmer always creates beautiful soundtracks, and he likes to work with female singers. So I'll put myself out there for Hans.
I'll tell you what. I'll have my people call his people. Where my people will talk to your people, and then we'll get something happening. Yeah, on the next Hans Zimmer, Simone Simons, Tim Burton collaboration. That'll happen. You heard it here first.
I'm waiting for that phone call then.
I'm aware time is ticking, and I got listener questions. Quite a lot of questions came in for you. So I said don't make them crap, and they're mostly not crap. There are some odd ones in here, but that's just the luck of the draw. First question, James on Facebook. He wants to know, just be prepared for some of my listeners, okay? Baby rhinoceros. Are they born with big feet or little feet?
I think probably big feet.
Uh-huh.
They're going to be big animals, so probably big feet.
Big feet and grow into much bigger feet. There you go, James. Vangs in Edinburgh, who I actually know personally. I live in Edinburgh. I play Warhammer 40,000 with him when it's not a lockdown. He says Cry for the Moon was probably the first symphonic metal song he ever heard. He was wondering how... This is a long time ago, so I apologise. He said wondered how difficult was it to record, considering the official video shows something like 20 people in the studio. And do you still record that way?
I think he is talking about the 2 meter sessions that we did. That was the DVD recording. After we already recorded the Phantom Agony, the debut album. But not everything is recorded at the same time, unless, he's talking about the 2 meter sessions.
Sure.
So all the instruments are recorded separately, but the choir is recorded as a whole, with a couple of microphones. And yeah, nowadays, of course, it's unimaginable that a lot of people are together in the same room. I have the same thing when I watch movies. I'm like, no, that's dangerous, Corona,
Yeah,
The
I'm
alarm
totally
bells
like that.
go off.
It makes me go, oh, don't touch, don't shake hands.
Yes. I've never been a big fan of shaking hands because of the reason that it's not very hygienic.
Mm-hmm.
And I've gotten a lot of weird looks because of that, but now everybody understands
Yeah.
that it's dangerous to shake hands.
You prefer a friendly headbutt, don't you?
Or just like the Japanese style, just make a little bow.
Nice.
That's a very hygienic way to greet each other.
I like that. I do like that. Bob on Facebook, he has said, according to your blog, smoonstyle.com, check it out, everyone, says you love a dirty joke. Now, I ask you, do you have any particular favourite dirty jokes?
Not at the moment. I mean, I just like... I have a typical Dutch dry humor, or maybe it's very much compared to the English, the kind of dry,
very much
sarcastic humor.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind those kind of discussions, but I can just think about a dirty joke. I'm not like a jokester.
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I'm always fond of why did the baker's hands smell? And then ask, why did the baker's hands smell?
Because he didn't wipe his ass with toilet paper?
Well, that is not a joke. That's just disgusting. Because he needed a poo.
Yeah. So
like you need bread.
Basically the same thing.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Slightly less comedic, I have to say, but that you did get the answer correctly. He also asked, what collaboration are you most proud of, and what collaborations would you like to get done but haven't accomplished yet?
Which collaboration I'm most proud of? I guess working together with Camelot in the beginning, and also with Arjen Lucassen, are very great, like dream come trues for me as a younger metal fan. So that is always a great accomplishment. But also singing together with Anneke van Giersbergen or with Christina. They are women I looked up to when I was younger, and they're now my friends, and they're really sweet people. And so there's many things, and something that's on my wish list is to one day maybe work together with Rammstein or Opeth or Muse. Maybe those are some of my favorite bands.
That would be amazing. That would be awesome. Especially with with Rammstein, especially that contrast between their usual style and your voice would certainly be something very ear-catching. I hope that's answered your question, Bob. Kat on Facebook has asked what your favorite flavor of ice cream is.
Mint chocolate chip.
Okay, a lot of people like that. I can't do mint chocolate chip myself. I like chocolate. It's just chocolate flavored things I can't do.
Okay.
But that's
Then
fine.
there's more for me. More for me then.
Andreas on Twitter has asked, how is Simone and the band dealing with the situation? Artists are obviously hit hard by the crisis, but what are the options for bands such as Epica to support yourselves?
Well, we all try to keep busy. I mean, Epica, even though we're not touring at the moment, there's a lot happening behind the scenes. So there is really never a dull moment. We all do get the travel bug because we used to travel a lot. But yeah, we keep ourselves busy. We're promoting the new album now and keeping our fingers crossed that we can do the festivals this summer. But yeah, it's I mean, I consider myself more like a live musician. So I
Sure.
am, even though I'm super busy, I do feel a little bit restless. And but the gyms are closed as well, so I cannot break down any machines there. So what we do to blow off some steam, we got snow here in the south of Germany, so we go out and enjoy and appreciate nature and get some fresh air.
It's been a good time for that in general, I find. I find at least a lot of people have started to appreciate the environment in a way they should have more often.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
And not take it for so granted anymore. A man called My Dad has asked on Facebook, do you have a favourite composer or piece of classical or orchestral music?
I just love Mozart. I think because as a young girl in high school, I was already introduced to Mozart. My father has listened also every Sunday during breakfast to classical music. I didn't back then. I thought it was like funeral music, but now I do appreciate Mozart. But I honestly don't listen a lot to classical music. I listen to whatever my son likes,
Sure.
which at the moment he's totally into Toto and he loves Michael Jackson.
Oh, wow.
And,
80s stuff
yeah.
then.
Yeah, and his favorite song of the new album is Code of Life. He likes that too.
It's a good one.
And
That's
yeah,
with
but
the child sounding orchestra, right? Orchestra.
Yes.
Choir, I should say. Yeah,
Choir, yeah.
That's very catchy. I like that one as well. Such a good album, dude. Seriously. I'm not just like, because I'm talking to you. It's really good. Like, I have it on all the time. Okay, just on, do you need to rush off after this as well? You got an interview
I have
straight
another
away?
one.
Okay, no problem.
I have another one.
Well, just one more question, and then I'll ask you to say a little ident for the show, if that's okay.
Sure, yeah.
Great. So Queen C on Twitter has asked, blah, 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 face with tears of joy. It's that's an emoji. She wants to know, solitary ground, what does it mean to you after so many years? The song deals with the uncertainties of growing up, and now you are, mid-30s.
It's not just about growing up. It was, I guess, about me traveling the world and not really feeling grounded anywhere. So, you set foot on many different soils, but you never feel like you're at home because you're always moving. You're like living a nomad's life.
Sure.
Yeah. So, but it's an old song. I don't really identify with that anymore.
That's fair enough. Would that be an issue for you when you're singing? Or can you just act it? Or does there have to be an element of like immediate relation to it? Do you know what I mean?
No, I can still embody what the lyrics are about.
Yeah. That's a dumb question from me. Sorry. Of course you can. I'm a voice actor and I've played orcs and I'm not an orc. So, yeah. Okay.
Maybe you are after midnight.
Yeah, I mean, I do black out a lot around 11:59 p.m. and then I wake up covered in mud and blood and bruises. So that could well be it. That could well be it. Listen, I'm sorry we haven't been able to ask all the questions today to everyone, but it's been a joy talking to you, Simone. Thank you so much for coming on Metal Empire and talking to me.
Yeah, pleasure's all mine.
Listen,
What extremely good music, eh? What extremely good music, and what an extremely lovely lady to talk to. Sounds like what a lovely lady. Like a Northern English working man's club comedian being patronising to women. She's a lovely lady. She comes from Europe. Sings in one of them rock bands. Mrs. Simone Simons. You are a missus, aren't you? So it's yeah, she was really lovely to speak to. As anyone of any gender, I would describe as lovely to speak to. Really, really enjoyed it, and yeah, not intimidating at all. Absolutely personable, friendly, fun, willing to have a laugh. Really nice. Made me smile a lot, and I hope my conversation with her made you smile too. All right, another reason why we're a bit slow off the marks and didn't hit that 2-week deadline I set for myself. I don't know if I'll set one this time because I don't know. I'm really busy. I'm so busy. Honestly, mate, I'm mega busy with work and stuff. So one of the reasons why I didn't quite get this out was because I was talking to Margarita Monet from the band Edge of Paradise, who I like a lot as well, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get an interview with her done on what day, and then that might be the next interview, but I have got it done. It's already gone out on the radio show. However, as you know, if you've heard this before, and if you've indeed heard any of the preceding of this podcast, this particular episode, I like to play music on the show from the new album. It adds some context to what I'm chatting about. And it turns out the new Edge of Paradise album is absolutely phenomenal, to the point where it is now my most listened to and favourite album of the year, and it's not even officially released yet. So I want to definitely be playing you some of those songs that have won me over so much. However, that album, I did get the interview done, but that album isn't out yet, and I can only really release the podcast with songs on it when the album comes out, because, or at least if the 3 songs that I want to play come out as singles, which I do not think that's likely. With one of the songs on there, even though I think it's a belter. So I need to wait until the album's out, which I think is still at least a month away, if not a couple of months away, before I can release that podcast. So now I've found that out, I was like, okay, well, at least that squares it, and it's going to be the Epica podcast. So there we go. That's why I fannied about a little bit, a lot, working very hard on my audiobooks that need to be produced and released, but also wasn't sure what the temporal logistics would be when it came to doing the Edge of Paradise podcast. That's going to come up in the future. It might be the next one, or I might dig back into the vaults and bring out maybe Flesh God Apocalypse or something like that. Another interview from the past, from before the pandemic, when I could actually go and interview musicians in person. So I'm going to leave you with this. Oh, I don't think I said what the last song was, did I? That last song was Kingdom of Heaven Part 3, the antediluvian, universe, which I believe means ancient, and well, let's find out right now. I think it means ancient and forgotten and maybe underground. Antediluvian, meaning it means so of or belonging to the time before the biblical flood, so gigantic bones of antediluvian animals. It can also similar to prehistoric, primeval, primordial, primal, extremely early. So there you go. Old. I got it like maybe 1/3 right of my description of what it could be. Anyway, I'm going to leave you with another great song, my favourite song from the album. But in the meantime, I want to say thank you so much for listening. If you want to tweet me about heavy metal music, hard rock music, whatever, or nerdy stuff like Warhammer 40,000, you can do on Twitter at RJ Bailey. You can see my dogs, one of who is starred in the preamble of this show, on Instagram, Robert J. Bailey. You can also visit my website, rjbailey.com, and also contribute financially, and I really appreciate those who have, to the upkeep of the show when I need to buy new equipment, etc., by heading to ko-fi.com/Metal Empire, kofi.com/Metal Empire. All those links will be in the show notes. Also, this is a spin-off from the radio show, so if you want to listen to the radio show where I do the interviews first, you get them way in advance sometimes of the podcast, then please do check out metalworldradio.com. There's loads of great DJs on there, loads of people playing some of the finest music, even when the auto DJ's on. There's some absolute crackers that I've discovered just by the robot spitting them out. However, great DJs on there, great selection of music, that thing that you don't get from things like Spotify, curated music, unusual music, stuff that might not come up in your suggestions, but it turns out that's an absolute banger. True surprise and delight available when you're listening to a real life DJ. So my particular show, Metal Empire, is on Wednesdays at 1 in the afternoon UK. It's at 8 in the morning EST, and it's at 2 in the afternoon Central European time. Those times are all the same. That's not 3 different broadcasts. That's just the same time all around the world. So if you want to hear it, please check it out. We have a vibrant community on the chat. Go to metalworldradio.com and you'll be confronted with the chat room where there's a bunch of regulars that always come in to listen to the show and chat together, which is very nice. It's a lovely, welcoming community, very positive that we've got there. I'd love to have you along. You can check out the Facebook page as well, which is Metal World Radio, and also mine, Metal Empire. You can do a search for Metal Empire Radio, and that'll take you directly to the Metal Empire Facebook page. Also, if you want to hear my shows again, the radio shows again, go to mixcloud.com/RJ Bailey, where you can hear not just Metal World Radio shows, but shows I've done from years ago, be it Metal Nation Radio or Castle FM Scotland. I don't know if I've got Castle FM stuff on there. I probably have. The RJ Bailey Rock Show. Yeah. I think that is on there from a long, long time ago. So head over to there. And if you want to hear more waffle, but with a greater degree of music and less interviews, that's for you. I'm going to play out with this, my favourite track from the latest album. This is Omega, Sovereign of the Sun Spheres. And it could, at the start, be a James Bond tune. I'll see you on the Flippy Dippy.
Hello, this is Simone Simons from... Now I say Simmons. Hello. Hello. Hello, I can do a different voice. Hey everyone, this is Simone Simons from Epica. You're listening to Metal Empire. And while I personally find RJ Bailey to be a very entertaining guy to talk with, he does play good music.
That's very sweet of you. Thank you for changing that. That's very nice.